episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. from Hank Jr. Productions, where I document life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And today I'm here with a very special guest, Lucie Switalski. Lucie, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. And first of all, I just want to congratulate you. I heard the news that you just got engaged.
I got engaged less than 24 hours ago, so it's very exciting. I got my ring, but yes, thank you so much.
That's awesome. I'm glad to be able to be part of the announcement. Tell me, how did it go down?
Well, my parents were actually in town visiting, and we didn't get to spend Christmas with them because they unfortunately were sick with COVID. So they came down to kind of have our little Christmas this weekend, and we were opening gifts and everything. And it's the last gift I opened, and I was so shocked. I was not expecting it at all. I started crying right away, and it was really special to have my family around, and it was great. Just kind of a nice night at home surrounded by the people I love most. So it was great.
Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm definitely glad that happened for you. And when you say here, you're talking about the St. Louis area, correct?
Yes, yeah, I am based in St. Louis.
Okay, but you're originally from Chicago, correct?
I'm from the south side of Chicago, born and raised. But I've been in St. Louis about 5 years now. So
Okay. And I see that you're a Cubs fan, correct?
I am a Cubs fan and Blackhawks. So
Okay, well, I'm happy about the Cubs part of it because I actually grew up, and this is way before your time, when WGN was probably one of the only, besides TBS, major stations that were nationwide. And I grew up, watching cartoons on WGN, and all of a sudden, this thing called baseball shows up, and that's what I started becoming a Cubs fan. So I've been a Cubs fan since probably 1984, 85 ish.
amazing. Yeah, no, Chicago loves WGN. I've actually performed on WGN before with my a cappella group in college. We did a tour to Chicago and I got us into WGN. So that was amazing. We
Oh,
performed live.
wow.
So yeah.
That's awesome. But I can't say that I agree with the Blackhawks because besides the Chicago Cubs, most of my teams are out of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And it was back in what I guess the early 2000s where you guys beat us for the Stanley Cup. So I wasn't
Yeah.
too happy about that one.
Yeah, we had a pretty good run going there with our Stanley Cups. So I get a lot of smack for it down here in St. Louis too. It's quite the rivalry. So
Yeah. So compare the two cities, Chicago and St. Louis. Give me some pros and cons about each and what's different.
yeah, moving here was actually quite a little bit of a culture shock for me. Everyone's a little bit nicer, which I kind of like. It's a little
Hmm.
slower paced. And they are just like both beautiful, unique cities, and they both have so much culture, which is amazing, and love for the arts and everything. There's definitely a lot of more hustle bustle in the big city of Chicago, which I did love and enjoy, but here it's just like it's really made me appreciate nature more and just everything that this beautiful state has to offer. Like I love going hiking and going on float trips and all sorts of fun stuff that you can't necessarily do on the south side of Chicago. So
Okay. And for both cities, I've actually only got to visit briefly. I was actually working my full-time job when I went to Chicago, kind of in and out. And then the summer, I was actually in the St. Louis, Eureka area, filming for Freedom Jam, a concert that a bunch of people, artists came out to put on for military veterans. So I really didn't get a chance to experience either of the cities, but I did get the deep dish in Chicago, and I did try some barbecue in St. Louis. What do you think about the food in each one? Which one's better, or is it just different?
oh man, I always miss my Chicago food. I will say there's some great food here too, but yeah, my Chicago pizza, it's got my heart. Can't really do the thin crust emos thing from St. Louis. Not a fan, but I love my Chicago pizza. I love Portillo's. I'm constantly craving Portillo's. Whenever I go home, that's like the first thing I get. Um, but I mean, St. Louis, we're really known for the T-Ravs, the toasted
Oh,
raviolis. So I love that.
okay.
And we got Ted Drew's, the frozen custard place. So there's really just great food here too. Can't complain.
All right. So, speaking about cities, you have a new song out called "Hey Dallas."
Dude.
Tell me about that. Is it? I mean, obviously, it's a play on words, where the city and the person's name Dallas. But have you been to Dallas? Was there something about Dallas that say, "Hey, I'm going to pick this city"?
I've never been to Dallas. I have been to Texas though, and I loved it. I actually went this past summer. We drove through while going to the Grand Canyon, and it was great. But yeah, it is a play on words. It is a name, and it's half a real story, half a story I kind of just wrote while I was writing the song. It kind of just came together, but yeah, it really did just kind of end up flowing together so nicely, and being able to kind of have the imagery of the city, but also realize that it is a person. And then kind of like the punchline with "all my roads come back to you," um, kind of ties it all in a little bit there. So.
And when you said that it was, kind of came together, I mean, it was probably a real fast process. I think you said something like 2 hours, and you wrote it with Mason Douglas, correct?
I did. Yeah, yeah. So I actually met Mason Douglas over social media, and I reached out to him. I loved his work, and I knew we would mesh really well with my style and his writing style and everything, and his producing. So we hopped on a Zoom call, and I had most of the lyrics written already, but we just kind of switched some parts up and got the music down and a melody and everything. And we were about done with it in 2 hours. And then I made a quick Nashville trip over one weekend, just a one night. And I went and recorded the song with him. And it was done in about 2 weeks. And yeah, I just wanted to get out into the world as fast as I could. I was so excited about it. So
Well, and I'm definitely liking the song, and it seems that you've had a great reception, from the fans as well.
yeah, it's been so amazing. I've just been so humbled by it all. The response has been incredible, and been receiving so much love on it. So I'm so happy that everyone is enjoying it and loving it as much as I do. So
That's great. And I see you have a guitar there. Would you be willing to play "Hey Dallas" for us here on Hank's Corner?
absolutely, I would love to. Alrighty, let me get all set up here. Hey Dallas, I know we just met. I wanna talk about forever. I still see the way that you looked at me. I still feel the way that it happened. Hey Dallas, love has a crazy way of making strangers say crazy things. At 5 a.m. in your bedroom, but I do it all over again with you. Wrapped up in your arms, wrapped up in you. 8 a.m. and the sun's spilling in, always comes too soon. I know I laid it out, what was I supposed to do? But hey Dallas, all my roads keep coming back to you. I know it's okay, you can open up too. Just don't go and leave me hanging. Hey Dallas, no matter what you say, your lips are where I wanna stay. Yeah, wrapped up in your arms, wrapped up in you. 8 a.m. and the sun's spilling in, always comes too soon. I know I laid it out, what was I supposed to do? Hey Dallas, all my roads keep coming back to you. We could blame it on the whiskey, we could blame it on damn good timing. But hey Dallas, can you blame me for trying? When I'm wrapped up in your arms, wrapped up in you. 8 a.m. and the sun's spilling in, always comes too soon. I know I laid it out, what was I supposed to do? Hey Dallas, all my roads keep coming back to you. know we just met, but wanna see how far we get.
And that's Lucie Switalski here on Hank's Corner singing her latest song, Hey Dallas. So I love that song and I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your journey because I know you started very young with music, and I think it was kind of in your blood, correct?
Yes, yeah. So my parents are professional musicians for a living. So I always say I came out of the womb singing. My mom was performing on stages 9 months pregnant with me. So yeah, I grew up in the industry, just surrounded by music all the time, and I naturally kind of just found my own love for it. And I started performing with them. They do Broadway and nostalgia mostly, and I started performing with them at a really young age, and learned piano as soon as I could. I was probably 3 or 4 when my mom started teaching me. And I absolutely fell in love with piano. And then I started singing. And then that moved on to flute and band and everything. And then it actually wasn't until high school that I decided to teach myself guitar because I was just absolutely falling in love with writing songs. So I was like, I want to be able to perform my own sets and everything. So I taught myself guitar, and the rest is history.
Okay. And it was kind of a little bit of a culture shock, shall we say, from the Chicago area to the St. Louis area, right? Because I think you were with a different genre, back in Chicago. And then I heard that you may have fell in love with country as you got to the, the wide open country area out there in Missouri. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, I always had an appreciation for country music. My dad liked a lot of country and everything, but it wasn't like die hard, like all about it. And like I always loved Taylor Swift, as any young girl does, and loved her, and she was a big inspiration. But it wasn't until I did come down to Missouri, where I guess I was just always hearing country music, and I just fell in love with it, and going to concerts as much as I could. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, something about this city and all my friends listening to country, and I just really fell in love with it, and realized that I was kind of able to put my own twist on it and have fun with it. So
Okay. And so you are a singer-songwriter. Do you like writing your songs? Do you find that it comes easy, or do you prefer to either collaborate or pick songs from somebody else?
I love writing. That's something I've always loved my whole life, whether it be creative writing or poetry or lyrics. And it is something that does come easy to me when inspiration strikes. I have my notes tab in my phone is just like filled with random thoughts. If I'm driving or just grocery shopping or something and a lyric comes to me, I automatically put it in my phone. But yeah, I do love writing. I do love to collaborate as well, just because two heads are better than one. Even if you think you got a great song, someone else might be able to have like a great line to really make it even better. So, and that's kind of what happened with Hey Dallas for sure. Um, but yeah, collaboration is good, and it's so much fun, and you get to meet so many other talented people and make awesome work out of it. So
And with that, when you do collaborate, I mean, obviously there's, anybody you can choose from out there in the world, but you have your parents. Do you ever collaborate, with your parents?
I do all the time. Yeah. Me and my dad, we just have such a special bond over music, and it always has been. And my dad produces as well. So I grew up kind of just always messing around in the studio a little bit with him, just so I could get a feel for it and learn about it. And that's my favorite thing to do, even to this day. When we go home, it's like we have a huge music room in my house back home, and we'll just sit in there for hours and just have fun. And it's kind of like a big family band with my mom, and then my little brother, he actually plays electric guitar. So
Okay.
it's just a whole party that we just kind of sit down and jam out, and before you know it, like 5 hours have gone by. So
You gotta love that. And I know that I've seen at least one video where you and your mom, performed Jolene up on stage. How often do you get to perform with the family? Is that something that's just kind of like a treat, or you try to do it whenever you can?
oh, when I still lived back in Chicago, it was pretty often. When I was in high school and everything, I would go to all their shows with them and perform. And then as I got older, I'd perform more and more with them. And now it's more so a treat when I'm able to kind of catch up with them at some point and join in on a show. But yeah, those are some of my best memories are performing with them. It's like, I know it's such an honor because not everyone gets to do that. It's such a unique way to grow up, and yeah, it's truly so much fun to look back on and just reminisce, and really grateful for all those experiences.
And you're not a full-time musician yet, correct?
I am not a full-time musician, but I do work full-time in the music industry.
So you do a little bit of work with, I guess, managing venues, correct? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a venue manager at the Chesterfield Amphitheater here in the St. Louis area. And I actually started out there as an intern in 2019 when I was finishing up school because I studied music business. And that was my internship, and I absolutely loved it. I had the best time. And I went on to do a couple other things after graduation. And then they had a position open up and asked me to come back, and I jumped on it. And yeah, so now I'm a full time venue manager there, and it is just so much fun working that side of the industry too. And it's honestly opened so many doors for my own music as well. So it's
Okay.
been
And what type of performances are at the amphitheater?
all sorts. We do a lot of country, a lot of touring names. Like we've had Lee Brice, Eli Young Band, Three Dog Night, Dwight Yoakam, all sorts of great names that come through. So
Okay,
it'll,
so mostly concerts then, correct?
yes, yeah.
Okay. Who is your favorite one that you got to see come through? And do you ever get to meet any of these artists?
I do. Yes, I do get to work really closely with the tours, which is amazing, and occasionally meet the artists as well. But ooh, my favorite, I would have to say probably Dwight Yoakam because I was a runner for that show, and I honestly didn't even get to watch much of the show because I was so busy. But I learned so much about the industry and just the job and the industry itself that day that I'm just so grateful and always look back on it saying, wow, like I learned so much that day and gained so much knowledge that I've been able to bring into everything else I do as an artist, as a venue manager. So probably that show.
Okay. And do you ever find yourself daydreaming that you're going to be on that stage right there with some of these big names?
Of course, of course. My boss did quickly learn that I am a musician as well. So during my internship, we have a Sounds of Summer series where we have tribute bands come through. So it's more so like a free event for the community. And he let me open the show, which was amazing. So I got to perform to like 5,000 people that day, which was amazing. Um,
Wow. How did you feel about doing that? I mean, I know you said it's amazing, but was it a little nerve-wracking, or was it something that you're just natural at performing?
a little bit of both. The stage really does just feel like home. It's like no one else matters. I'm just having a great time up there. But of course, when there's that many people staring at you, it is a little bit nerve wracking. But after the first minute or so, I'm good and just having a blast. So it was amazing.
That's great. And I believe one of the other highlights, so to speak, of your year in performing was that you got to open up for Maddie Pope, correct?
I did. Yeah, that was just about a month or two ago, right before Christmas. I opened for her at a venue called Old Rock House in St. Louis. And that was such an honor to open for someone who won American Idol. Never in my wildest dreams I think I would be doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Maddie won season 16, I believe.
yeah, and she's such a sweetheart. Her show that she put on was just incredible, so talented. So for them to ask me to open up a show for someone of that caliber and talent was truly an honor. And yeah, that whole thing, it was just so much fun. And I remember every second of it. It was great.
So all in all, it sounds like, already starting 2022, you're having a big year, and 2021 seemed like it was a great year as well. Am I missing something? Was it all great, or was there any struggles at all?
I mean, it had its struggles too. It was great. I think, especially with the pandemic and everything, you kind of just had to make the most of it. But um, honestly, I am thankful for that time because it almost forced me to be as creative as I could to work on my music. I had more time to sit down and focus on it and craft and practice. And it opened the door for getting creative in the music industry of how are we going to make concerts go on safely. And all in all, I just learned a lot from it. And it was very motivating and inspiring to see so many people come together and want music to continue to go on. So yeah, it definitely had its hardships, and got a little tiring sitting inside for a while, but just looking on the bright side of it all, really.
And that's good. So you've kind of come a long way, since your first song, "Never Knew," to where you are now. But let's go back to, "Never Knew." Tell me about, writing that first song, how that came about, and how well that song did.
Yeah, so that was the first song I wrote, and well, it wasn't the first song I wrote. It was the first song that kind of came together and I put out for the world to hear. Put it that way. But I wrote it with a friend of mine I met in high school. I was really blessed to go to a fine arts high school on the south side of Chicago. It was a private school called Marian Catholic, and just very big on the arts and everything. So I got to meet so many other like-minded students of my age, and got to do a lot of collaboration there. So I wrote that song with my friend Brendan Mars, and it was one of those nights that we were just sitting in my living room, just having a good time jamming out, and that song came to fruition. And yeah, I just really loved it. It was, looking back on it, it's one of my favorite songs to perform because it takes me back to my younger days, and it's just like, oh, this like kind of young love and everything, and good to reminisce on. And that is a song that my dad actually produced and kind of helped me get out there to get a demo out there and everything. So very
Well,
thankful for that.
can we keep the nostalgia going and have you sing it for us here on Hank's Corner?
So yeah, I'd love to. Alrighty. Tuesday night by your side, foolishly dancing to slow light. Your t-shirt, my playlist, go back to that first kiss. Who knew that the best part of leaving would be thinking about you? And when we first met and talked through the morning, because I never knew you'd be the one who'd make me laugh like a fool. But I can't stop from smiling when you act so cool. Never knew you'd be the one who'd break down all my walls. Never knew you'd be the one to catch me when I fall. Time goes on, I play that song. It takes me back in time, back to when there was nothing wrong. Your arms were the only place I belonged. Who knew that the best part of leaving would be thinking about you? And when we first met and talked through the morning, because I never knew you'd be the one who'd make me laugh like a fool. But I can't stop from smiling when you act so cool. Never knew you'd be the one who'd break down all my walls. Never knew you'd a smiling when you act so cool. Never need be the one who'd break down all my walls. Never need be the one to ignore me when I call.
That was Never New by Lucie Switalski here on Hank's Corner. So, one of the artists that I know out there in St. Louis is Molly Lovett. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but
And
she was one of my first guests on Hank's Corner, and I got to go out there and do a photo shoot with her out in St. Louis. Uh, but tell me, are there any artists, whether St. Louis or Chicago, that we should just be looking at because they're kind of undiscovered but really good?
yeah, absolutely. I have met so many incredible musicians along the way. And one that always sticks out to me, and I always shout him out because he's been a good friend of mine, is Anthony Russo. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
No,
he is amazing. He's always performing at a lot of bars in the St. Louis, St. Charles County area. And he actually is a tap dancer as well. And he incorporates that into all of his sets. Just like incredible talent. So
wow.
I always shout him out because he just hustles and is just so talented. I love watching him.
And have you ever played with him, or just kinda do a songwriters round with him?
Planning on it. Yeah, we actually have been texting back and forth trying to get a date down to do some writing together. But I have booked his band a couple times, which was great. I got he does solo stuff, and then he also has a little 3 or 4 piece band called the Drive-By Boys, and I booked them to open a show at the amphitheater. So that was really awesome that I got to kind of get them out on the big stage and everything. But yeah, no, we're planning on writing very soon. So
Okay, and tell me maybe some other places that you're gonna be playing in the near future.
oh man, I am all over the place. I've been playing like 2, 3 gigs a week, it seems like. So I'm always at Cafe Telegraph in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm there every second Thursday of the month. I've been at Oakenfront Wine Bar. I've tried to do a couple in Illinois as well in the Belleville area, and Benny's Pizza Pub in Belleville, Copper Fire. So I'm always playing all over the place, and my gigs are all on my website too. So
Okay, and any plans to come play in Florida? Because I know you snuck down here, in the Tampa Bay area, and,
I,
maybe you can come back and play next time. D Is there any plans on actually, maybe doing a little bit outside of your area?
I would love to. I am totally down to get in some more states and perform all over the place that I can. But yeah, that was my first time to Florida. My now fiance and I went for Christmas since we weren't able to go through with our original plans. We were like, well, let's make the best out of it and go somewhere warm. So we had a great time, but I would love to come play in Florida.
Yeah, well, if you ever come play, I'll definitely be in the front row, and of course, if you ever need any photography or videography, glad to do that for you. But once again, congratulations, on everything that's going on, your success in music, but also your a recent engagement, and I know I saw the picture that he's the peanut butter to your jelly, correct?
Yes, he is. Yeah, we were peanut butter and jelly for Halloween this year.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on Hank's Corner, and you're more than welcome to be a guest anytime.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.